So good evening students. Today we will study something about organic compounds. Organic compounds. Now what do you mean by organic compounds? Organic compound means the compounds which are created or which are derived from the organism. This name came from this theory. This theory was given by a scientist known as Berzelius. What he said that these compounds, they need some vital force, the force which is present in the living organism to prepare the organic compounds. That the force which is required for the living organism, that force is also required for the formation of organic compound. And this theory is known as vital force theory. It is known as vital force theory. What does this theory state? That some living force or vital force is required to prepare the organic compound. Right? But afterwards what happened? A scientist who was named as Wohler, he has prepared urea which is present in the urine of animals. It is an organic compound, but he prepared this compound from an inorganic compound which is known as ammonium cyanate. Ammonium cyanate. This is an organic compound. This is inorganic compound, and by heating this compound he prepared this organic compound, that is urea. So it means that your organic compound can be prepared from the inorganic compound as well. So this vital force theory was failed, right? Then again came the definition of organic compound, that the organic compounds are the compounds of carbon, right? Organic compounds are the compounds of carbon. So we know that there are many compounds of carbon: carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins. These all are the compounds of carbon. But apart from that, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, these are also the compounds of carbon. Carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, carbonates, bicarbonates, carbides, metal carbides. These are also the compounds of carbon. Are they also organic compound? So the answer is no. These compounds are not the compounds of, not the organic compounds, because their properties, they are very similar to the inorganic compound. Hence they are classified as inorganic compound. Other than these compounds, all other compounds of carbon, they are organic compounds, such as carbohydrate, fats, proteins, vitamins. They all are the compounds of carbon, that is organic compound. But these are also the compounds of carbon, but these are not organic compound, they are inorganic compound. So you can say the compounds of carbon other than the oxides of carbon, carbonates, bicarbonates, carbides, are known as organic compound. One more definition is there for organic compound, that organic compounds, they are the hydrocarbons or the derivatives of hydrocarbon. Now what do you mean by hydrocarbon? Hydrocarbon, as the name tells, means the compounds which are made up of hydrogen and carbon. Hydrogen and carbon, they are known as hydrocarbon. So organic compounds are either hydrocarbons or the derivative of hydrocarbon, then they are known as organic compounds. Got it? So now these are the compounds of carbon, as I have told you. Then what is, you know that organic compounds, they are millions and millions in number. Means unlimited compounds of carbon are there. In the periodic table we have 118 elements known. Out of this 118 elements, if you take away this carbon, then other 117 elements, they will form just some, you can say 50 to 60,000 compounds. But this carbon alone can form million and million of compounds, or you can say unlimited number of compounds. So property of carbon which is making it able to make so large number of compounds. So there are two properties of carbon which make it unique. The first property, it is tetravalency of carbon. Tetravalency. What do you mean by tetravalency? Tetravalency means that carbon has valency of 4. Carbon valency is 4. Right? Why it has valency of 4? First of all, it comes under the 14th group of the periodic table. And I have told you that the elements which are present in the 14th group, their valency will be 14 minus 10, that is 4. Okay, so since it shows tetravalency, it means that carbon is capable of forming 4 bonds. It can link to carbon atom as well as to other atoms with the help of this 4 bond. Therefore, it can extend its chain. Hence, it is tetravalent and it forms large number of compounds. Right? The other reason for which the carbon make a large number of compound, it is its catenation property. The second property which is required for the formation of large number of compound, it is its catenation property. Now what do you mean by catenation? Catenation means self-linking property. Carbon has the ability to form the bonds with itself. It can form large chain compound, or it can form branched compound, or it can also form the ring compounds, right? So it can link to itself to the other carbon atom to form large chains, and therefore it will form a large number of compounds. And why it is forming large chain? And are there any other element which can form large chain? So yes, there are. Sulfur can also form to some extent. Phosphorus can also form to some extent, but their chains cannot be extended much. Okay, why? Because carbon-carbon bond is a strong bond, whereas sulfur-sulfur bond or phosphorus-phosphorus bond is not that strong. So here we can form a large number of compounds. Due to this, carbon-carbon is strong bond. The strength of bond is high, and that is why the carbon can form large number of compounds. Understood? Now, these two properties, that is tetravalency and catenation, they are responsible for the formation of large number of compounds of carbon. Now, these organic compounds, they are further classified as acyclic compound, and cyclic compounds. Acyclic compounds means which have open structure. Either it will be a straight chain structure, or it may be branched structure, but it will have open structure. Whereas cyclic compounds means it will have ring structure, like that. They will have closed rings. So they are known as cyclic compound. Now acyclic compound, they are also known as aliphatic compounds. Aliphatic compounds. They may be further classified into two types, that is saturated compounds and unsaturated compounds. Now what do you mean by saturated compounds? Saturated compounds are those which will contain only single bond, carbon-carbon single bond, whereas unsaturated compounds are further classified into two, that is the one which contain double bond and the other which contain triple bond. These will contain only single bond. Okay, unsaturated compounds, they will be classified as those which contain either double bond, carbon-carbon double bond, or they may contain carbon-carbon triple bond. Now this saturated compounds which contain carbon-carbon single bond, if only carbon and hydrogen is present, they are known as alkanes. Okay, so you can say that saturated compounds are either alkanes or their derivatives. Okay, alkanes or their derivatives. Whereas unsaturated compounds are those which contain double bond or triple bond. If they contain double bond and they are carbon and hydrogen compound, they are known as alkenes. So alkenes or their derivative, they are unsaturated, or alkynes and their derivatives. Alkynes means which contain triple bond. So they are unsaturated compounds. right? They are aliphatic compound. Aliphatic compounds are classified into two types: saturated and unsaturated. Saturated compounds are those which will contain carbon-carbon single bond. Unsaturated compounds may contain carbon-carbon double bond or carbon-carbon triple bond, right? If they are hydrocarbon, then carbon-carbon single bond containing compounds are known as alkenes. If hydrocarbon and contain carbon-carbon double bond, they are known as alkenes. If hydrocarbon contain carbon-carbon triple bond, they are known as alkynes. Okay. Then there comes cyclic compounds. Cyclic compounds are further classified into two types. That is homocyclic compound, and heterocyclic compound. Heterocyclic compound. Homocyclic compounds means the compounds in which we have only carbon only present, such as the example which I have given just now, or this example, only carbon is present in the ring, then it is known as homocyclic. They are also known as alicyclic compounds. Alicyclic compounds, right? They will contain only carbon in the ring. No other atom will be present, no other element atom will be present in homocyclic compounds. Okay. Now this homocyclic compound, they can further be classified as alicyclic and aromatic. Right? Alicyclic compounds, homocyclic compounds are further classified as alicyclic and aromatic compound. Alicyclic compounds are those which have same properties like that of aliphatic compound, but they are cyclic in nature. Okay, they have the property same as like that of aliphatic compounds, but they will be cyclic in nature. Whereas aromatic compounds, they will be different. They will be having a particular aroma, and the more definition of aromatic compound you will study in this class. They may be containing benzene ring, then they will be known as benzenoid compound, and if they don't contain benzene ring, then it is known as non-benzenoid compounds. Okay, so aromatic compounds, it may be benzenoid compound or non-benzenoid compound, depending whether it contains benzene ring or it is not containing benzene ring. Then heterocyclic compounds are those compounds which will contain any other element also, such as here you can see that here nitrogen is also present along with the carbon atoms, right? So this is pyrrole. Similarly, one more example, furan. One more example, this is sulfur here. So this is thiophene. So these are example of heterocyclic compound which will contain atom of other element also along with the carbon. Then they will be known as heterocyclic compound, and this is brief description of classification of organic compound. Right? Now we will study about saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbons. So, what are saturated hydrocarbons? So, saturated hydrocarbons are those which contain carbon-carbon single bond. They contain carbon-carbon single bond. They are also known as alkenes. The general formula for these compound is CnH2n plus 2. CnH2n plus 2. Right? Like that of if n is equal to 1, then C1H2 into 1 plus 2, that is CH4. This is your alkane. So if suppose CH4 is there, you take one carbon, right? And I have told you that carbon has tetravalency. So first of all, you make its a 4 valency. Okay, because here only single bond is present, so you make only single bond. And now 4 hydrogens are there, so you put 4 hydrogen here. So that is the first member of your alkane, right? Now to make the structure of second member, that is C2H6, there are how many carbon? 2 carbons are there, so make 2 carbon, and since a single bond is there, so make only single bond. Now you have to make the tetravalency of each carbon. So 1 is already there, 2, 3, 4, similarly 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Now you put hydrogens here, right? So this is your C2H6. Similarly, if you have to make C3H8, so first you make 3 carbons linked with the single bond, right? Then you satisfy the tetravalency of each carbon. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. With the bond which is present between the 2 carbon belong to both. So this bond will belong to this carbon as well as this carbon. Similarly, this bond will belong to this carbon as well as this carbon. That's why we have to count, while counting the valency of carbon, we have to count these bonds for both the carbons. Okay. Now for this one is already satisfied, 2, 3, 4. Now put hydrogen atoms. So you get the structure of C3H8. Okay, nomenclature I will tell you later. So this is how we will draw the structure of alkenes. So what are saturated hydrocarbons? Saturated hydrocarbons are those which contain carbon-carbon single bond. The general formula is CnH2n+2, and this is how we draw the structure of those compounds. Okay. Now let us come to the unsaturated hydrocarbons. Unsaturated hydrocarbons, they are of two types, as I have told you, alkenes and alkynes. So if they are alkenes, then they will contain carbon-carbon double bond. Okay, they will contain carbon-carbon double bond, and the general formula for this alkenes is CnH2n. CnH2n, right? So like that, if here because there is carbon-carbon double bond, so at least 2 carbon should be required. So we will start making the compound from n is equal to 2, right? So if n is equal to 2, then here it is C2H2 into 2, that is C2H4. The number of hydrogen is just double the number of carbon atom. How to draw the structure? Since there are 2 carbon atoms, so you make 2 carbon atom. Since it is alkene, you have to draw double bond. So put double bond here. Now you have to satisfy the tetravalency of carbon. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is how you have satisfied tetravalency, and you put hydrogen atoms here. So this is the structure of C2H4. Now then other member n is equal to 3. So it will be C3H6. So to draw the structure, first draw 3 carbons. Between any 2 carbon you can put double bond and the other one single bond. Okay. So you have drawn this structure. Now you have to put the tetravalency of carbon. So 1, 2, 3, 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and here we have satisfied the tetravalency of each carbon. Now you can put hydrogen. So these are alkenes. So alkenes general formula is CnH2n, and that is how we draw the structure of these compounds. Okay. Now next we have alkynes. In case of alkynes, we have carbon-carbon triple bond. Okay. So here also the minimum member, the lowest member will contain at least 2 carbon, because there should be carbon-carbon triple bond, and for that we require at least 2 carbons. So the general formula for alkynes is CnH2n. H2N minus 2. So if N is equal to 2, then it is C2H. 2 into 2 minus 2, that is C2H2. How to draw the structure? Make two carbons, put triple bond here because there is carbon-carbon triple bond, and to satisfy the tetravalency 3 is already there, 4, and here also 4. So this is how we can draw alkynes, right? So unsaturated hydrocarbons, they are alkenes and alkynes. It contains triple bond, it contains double bond, general formula, and how to draw the structure. One more example for alkynes. Suppose we have N is equal to 3, then the formula will be C3H6, right? 2 into 3 minus 2, that is C3H4. So C3H4. So we will make 3 carbons. We will make triple bond between any 2 carbons and single bond between the other, right? Then satisfy the valency 1, 2, 3, 4. Here 1, 2, 3, 4 already satisfied, so we will not put hydrogen. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is how we have drawn the structure of this compound, right? Now we can also write this formula. It is known as skeletal formula. It is known as a skeletal formula. We are drawing the complete structure. We are showing the tetravalency of carbon. This is also a skeletal formula. We can also, by not showing the carbon-hydrogen bond, we can also write it in the condensed form. So how to write this in the condensed form? We can write it as CH2, right? Carbon-hydrogen bond is not shown, but we will write simply the atoms. Now there is double bond, so put double bond. Then carbon. Now hydrogen is there, one hydrogen, so put one hydrogen, and then one single bond, and here carbon, and here how many hydrogens are there? 3 are there, so 3. CH3. Number of hydrogen atom is written as a subscript on the right hand side. So this is how we write the condensed formula, and this is your skeletal formula. Here also we can write, this can be written as CH triple bond, C single bond, CH3. Suppose we have to write for the alkane. Suppose we have an alkane and we have to write the condensed formula for this. So here it is CH3, then single bond, CH2, then single bond, CH3. So this is how, just we have not to show the carbon hydrogen bonds. Okay, we will write just the number of hydrogen atom beside the carbon atom. This is how you write the condensed formula. Understood? So this is all about alkane, alkenes and alkynes. Derivatives we will study later on. Let us study more about homologous series. What do you mean by homologous series? And what do you mean by functional group? Right? So what are functional groups? Functional groups means these are the groups of atom or group of atom which will give the organic compound its all the properties, all the desired properties. Means the chemical properties of the compound will be decided by those atom or group of atom, then they are known as functional groups, right? So functional group are atoms or group of atom which give all the characteristic property to the chemical compound is known as functional group. So how many functional groups you have studied? You have studied alcohol. In alcohol we know that we have hydroxyl group present, OH group present, and by naming it we use all, right? Then the second group you have studied is aldehyde. In aldehyde we have carbonyl group present, and beside the carbonyl group hydrogen is present. This is linked to the carbon chain. Okay, so this CHO group, it is known as aldehyde group, and for this we use al. Then ketones, for only carbonyl group is present on both the sides, this carbonyl group will be attached to the carbon chain, and for ketone we use one. Right? Then you have studied carboxylic acid. In carboxylic acids we have COOH group, means carbonyl group, as well as hydroxyl group is present, and we use oic acid for this. Okay, so these all are functional groups. We will study them later. We have many more functional groups, but these are the 4 functional groups which you have studied in your 10th standard in carbanions compound. Besides that, you have studied esters also. In esters, we have this hydrogen of the carboxyl group is replaced by the alkyl group, and we name it as alkyl alkanoate. Right. So we will study later more about them. So that is about the functional group. Now, what is homologous series? So homologous series is a series of compounds which have similar general formula. They have similar functional group, similar chemical properties, and the 2 consecutive homologues of a homologous series, they differ by CH2. They differ by CH2 and 14 unit molecular mass. Right? What is homologous series? A series of organic compounds which have same functional group. Hence, they will have similar structure, similar chemical properties, and the 2 consecutive homologues will differ by CH2 or 14 units atomic or molecular mass. Then they are known as homologue. The numbers are known as homologues, and the series is known as homologous series. Such as, let us make the homologous series of alkenes. Let us see, in alkenes the first member is CH4. The another member we have made C2H6, then C3H8, then C3H8, then C4H10. So this is the homologous series of alkene. Now you can see that these consecutive members, the difference between these two is CH2. Okay, see the difference between the carbon, 1 carbon difference, 2 hydrogen difference. Here also, if you see these two, there is also 1 carbon and 2 hydrogen difference. Right? Now, since the difference is of 1 carbon and 2 hydrogen, the mass of carbon is 12 and hydrogen 1. So 1 into 2, 2. 12 plus 2, 14. So the difference in the molecular mass will be 14 units. We can find out the molecular mass of methane, 12 plus 4 is 16 units, whereas this is 12 to the 24 plus 6, 30. So the difference between the two, it is 14 units. Right? So the difference between the two molecular mass of 2 consecutive homologues will be 14 units, and they will differ by 1 carbon and 2 hydrogen. So that is homologous series. We will learn to make the homologous series of various compounds when we will study your organic chapters in the first year. Right? This is just a brief description about the organic chemistry and organic compounds. In the next class, I will start with the new syllabus.